In most areas of life, the math of success is simple. The more effort you exert, the greater the reward. You study longer, you pass the exam. You train harder, you cross the finish line faster. But in human relationships, this law often flips. Trying harder to pull someone closer frequently causes them to retreat. The more you chase a connection, the faster it slips away. In 1938, sociologist Willard Waller gave this dynamic a name. He called it the principle of least interest. Waller's premise was blunt. Within any two-person relationship, the individual with the least interest in the relationship continuing holds the most power over its terms. This creates a direct conflict with what we're taught as children. We are told that caring is a virtue, yet biology interprets intense neediness as a signal that your own internal resources are insufficient. The result is a structural trap. Our natural drive to secure a bond can strip us of the very leverage required to maintain it. It raises the question, is detached apathy the only way to navigate a social world? To see how this works, we have to look past the romance and view connections through social exchange theory. Here, relationships are subconscious cost-benefit analyses, where attention and vulnerability are traded like currency. Power is a product of dependency. If one partner has high-quality alternatives, their need for this relationship decreases. When one person has no alternatives, they are structurally trapped, accepting the other's terms to survive. The person who can walk away without loss sets those terms. This 1962 American Sociological Review data maps this advantage. In the before balancing column, members depending least on the group hold a high power advantage. To find balance, the after operation number 3 column shows power dropping to 0 only when weaker members withdraw their interest. Leverage, then, isn't a personality trait. It is a result of social physics. The party who needs the outcome the least inevitably dictates the rules of engagement. This imbalance triggers an instinctual retreat. When one person hyperactivates, becoming clingy or seeking reassurance, the other reflexively deactivates and withdraws to maintain their autonomy. This desynchronized environment creates a physical toll. While the invested partner faces spikes in cortisol and stress, even the indifferent partner is taxed. Research shows they struggle to offer support, creating a cycle of mutual physiological strain. We see the same reflex in professional hierarchies. It's the difference between the climber, who is desperate for internal validation, and the indifferent expert. The expert holds the power because their identity is tied to their external market value. They are immune to internal pressure because they have bridges to other ladders. The climber, tethered to a single padlock, has no exit power. This leads to psychological reactance. The moment our freedom of choice feels threatened by someone else's intense need for us, our brain triggers a drive to do the exact opposite of what is being demanded. High investment acts as a powerful repellent. Whether in a boardroom or a relationship, broadcasting that you cannot lose the object of your desire is the fastest way to drive it away. When one partner consistently uses this lack of interest to keep the upper hand, it creates an asymmetrically committed relationship. One person is leaning in, while the other is always halfway out the door. Data shows that while the indifferent partner wins the power struggle, they lose the relationship's utility. Interactions become mechanical, relational boredom rises, and the desire for intimacy disappears. In a company, this apathy destroys the culture. Indifferent leadership erodes trust and social cohesion, which are the primary protective factors for a team's productivity and health. If you use detachment as a weapon for control, the structure eventually fails. You might dominate the terms, but you destroy the connection itself. The way out of this paradox is not to fake coldness, but to become an autotelic personality. This describes someone whose goals and rewards are generated from within, rather than provided by others. When you move your center of gravity to an internal source of validation, you change your standing in the social marketplace. You aren't a seeker looking for a provider. You are a self-contained destination. This solves the paradox by providing the ultimate exit power. Because your self-worth isn't outsourced to a partner or a boss, the crust of losing that connection drops. This allows you to be fully vulnerable and passionate because you no longer need the other person's yes to remain a whole person. True power isn't about caring the least. It is about being a secure, self-sustaining entity. When you stop chasing the reflection in the mirror and stand still in your own autonomy, the world begins to follow in your footsteps.